Now, it is 8:51 and barely a day goes by without the words job cuts cropping up. So are you worried about being made redundant? It's an ongoing threat for many people. But here's one Taunton man's story that may be a source of inspiration and comfort if it's a situation that you think you might be faced with. Jamie Cunningham spent 31 years working in sales and marketing in the pharmaceutical industry, managing large teams of sales reps and supervisors. But last year, he was told he'd lose his job, and faced with the big decision of what to do next, he decided to make a pretty big one. He underwent rigorous training and completed an IT qualification, has now started up a computer repair and maintenance business. Morning.
Good morning.
I mean, it's kind of completely different from what you did before. Is that part of the thrill and the challenge?
Yes, I think it is. I think if someone was to have told me 12 months ago that I would be running a computer repair business, then I wouldn't have believed him. But it's also a tremendous challenge, and I think when faced with redundancy, there's all sorts of things go through your mind. From at least I can have a long line in the morning now to this is the end, and faced with all sorts of decisions to make and challenges, I made a decision to do something different.
How were you told you were going to be made redundant?
Well, it was a complete surprise. The company I was with went through had a difficult time, and the team that I was managing was disbanded. It was probably about one day everything was completely normal. The next day called in and was told, "I'm sorry, the team is going." So there was quite a few of us that were made redundant at the same time.
And how long from being told that the team was going to the team actually going was the time?
Well, the team had to stop work straight away, immediately the same day, and I was it was weeks. That was the real shock. It was complete normality and expecting to be there for a long time, having done 30 years, to standing outside the door saying goodbye, really.
And I mean, you mentioned that you, on the one hand, were thinking, oh, great, I can have a lie-in, and on the other hand, you think, well, what am I going to do? Where do you kind of start to get yourself back into the right headspace to actually plan a proper future?
Because the novelty wears off very quickly of lying in and not doing anything. And I mean, I knew all the time that I would have to do something. And I don't think anybody can really just sit around doing nothing. And the question was, do I go back in and do what I've always done and try and get another job back in the industry, or do I do something completely different? And the more I thought about going back in and doing what I'd done, the more sort of depressed I got. And I thought, this is an opportunity. I've done the job and I've enjoyed it for 30 years, but do I really want to be able to say that's all I've ever done with my life? Do I want to do something else? And so I thought, no, I'll make the big leap. I'll do something else, and ideally I want to work for myself and run my own business. And
I mean, that is, it's kind of an interesting point you make there, isn't it? That when you are in the safety zone of being in a job that you've been in for many years and probably will last for many years, there's a bit of us, all of us, that kind of think, oh, I wish I was doing something else. But you never have the inspiration, whether that be the positive inspiration of thinking, right, I'm just going to do it, or being faced with the dilemma of you're going to lose your job, you have to do something.
Yes, and certainly it was that sort of kick in the pants that I needed to actually get out and do something. And then it was a question of what do I want to do. And I had a great, sounds a bit sad, but a love of computers I've had for many years. I did a degree in computing back in 1978. When
you wouldn't have thought there would have been such a thing as a degree in computing.
It was one of the first ones, I think. But computers were the huge big roomfuls of sterile equipment, and
with the memory of a data stick now.
Yes, and we talked to them through punch cards. You typed out punch cards and put them in the computer that way. But the principles are still the same. But things have just got a lot smaller and a lot faster. And
I mean, obviously, you're aware when you're thinking, what am I going to do next, that IT is probably an industry that is going to grow. So it's a safe bet.
It is. And I mean, especially now, because I'm sort of looking after the sort of home PC market. So going out to people's houses and repairing computers, and everybody now has at least one computer, if not two computers, and they do have a habit of going wrong. So
well, also, it's not necessarily that they go wrong, but we go wrong trying to make them work, and it's just nice to have someone who is a human who can explain to us that it's simple. If you just click here here and do this. Whereas
Absolutely.
you know, a lot of companies, you're phoning up a helpline and you're sort of distanced from them mentally as well as physically.
Yeah, absolutely. Press button A, button B.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
It is indeed. Yes.
So you realised that you needed to do a bit of retraining. You've obviously got the safety net of perhaps a bit of redundancy money.
Yeah.
Did you think, right, I'm going to use some of that? That is my business. That I'm going to use that to start my new business.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and I went down the franchise route simply because you get the extra support and you can get things up and running that much more quickly by that, because there's a sort of business model that's already tried and tested. So there's sort of PC Pal business, computer repairs that is the franchise that I went with, and that way you get the support and the training and get up and running that much more quickly. But it was a massive learning curve. I have had a hobby of computers for many years. I sort of build my own computers. I was always the one, when I was invited round to people's houses and for meals or parties or something, I'd end up sitting at the computer fixing it, and I was very happy doing that. So it was something that I really enjoyed. So it seemed natural then to actually pick up on it and turn it into a business.
And how long from when you found out you've been made redundant to getting yourself together enough to start the business?
So probably quite a few months, probably 6 months it took me to.
And what went through your mind in that 6 months? Were there days when you thought, actually, forget it, it's too much like hard work?
Yes, there was lots of times when I thought, I really don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. You know, I've got this safety net, I've got the experience in the job I was doing. Would I not just be better off and going and doing that? But when I thought of that, it was like a sort of heart sink moment. Whereas when I thought, actually, I could go out and I could make a living out of doing what I enjoy, and I felt excited about that. So really, it was, that's what I want to do.
And now you've come out the other end. It's all going as well as you hoped.
Yes, I mean, it's early days. I've only been a couple of months really going out sorting out computers, but yes, business is picking up, and I haven't, touch wood, had one that I haven't been able to fix yet, which is good, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, my life is completely different to how it was this time last year, and I'm feeling a lot happier and a lot more positive about it.
And just because you did 31 years in the same job, you're not at the young end of the work-life scale. And I mean, the old, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, is completely wrong, isn't it? Because you can, and here you are a shining example of you can do something completely different if you put your mind to it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I would say, if someone's in a similar situation and you've got something you always wanted to do, then it's a great opportunity. There has been times, as you say, when I've questioned if it's the right thing, particularly when doing all the qualifications that you mentioned and sitting outside an exam room, which I haven't done for 30 years, and knowing I've got to face a 2-hour exam made me think, am I sure this is the right thing to do? But you get through it, and as I say now, it's good.
There are, as we've said, many people who are going to be facing an uncertain future. Did you find there was support when you needed it?
Yes, there was. So I mean, obviously the support of my family and friends was great, and it would be very difficult to go through something like this without that. But also because there was a group of us that were made redundant at the same time, it was very good to be able to sort of share experience with them and know that other people were going through it as well. So there is a sort of support network, and also very positively that I obviously keep in touch with quite a few people who were made redundant at the same time, and I think that pretty much every single one of them that I speak to says that they're actually moved on, and life is, if anything, more positive than it was before they made redundant. So it's a lot of very, very good stories. So it doesn't end at all with redundancy. It's
really good to hear that there is a life after a big life-changing event. Well, that's really good of you to join us this morning. Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best with your new business venture.
Thank you very much.
That's Jamie Cunningham. It's 9 o'clock on BBC Somerset. If you've got a similar story, we would love to hear from you this morning. You can get in touch with us, 0845 303 1566. If you've completely changed your life, let us know. You can text us, text the word Somerset and then your message to 81333, or you can email somerset@bbc.co.uk.
Live from where you live.
BBC Somerset.